Hi, this is Denise with PaperKraftD, and I'm going to share with you today a technique that I've been working on. I was trying to make some envelopes for a project that I was working on, and I got these pages out of a really old encyclopedia, and you can tell they're really kind of brittle, and I didn't and rather thin, and I didn't think that they would hold up on their own to kind of the wear and tear that I thought that this journal was these would take in the journal that I was making. So I really wanted to take some tissue paper and kind of make a liner for the book pages, and you know, make it a little sturdier that way. But I didn't want to use, glue or collage medium, because that has a tendency to kind of change the texture of the paper and make it a little stiffer and less pliable, less easy to work with. So I was going to try using, I'd seen a lot of people use plastic wrap, like saran wrap. So I had this in my stash. It's the Costco plastic wrap. And I got the paper, I got a layer of this, put that between the, and this stuff is really kind of tough to work with because it keeps on, it's hard to get it straightened back out because it wants to keep on sticking to itself once you tear it out. So I got this, and then I put a layer of tissue paper on it, and I started off trying to iron it, because, that's the way a lot of people seem to have success doing it. It wasn't working for me. I could not get this stuff to melt. I couldn't, I finally had to give up on this, this idea. For a while, I wasn't able to put these papers in the or these envelopes that I wanted to make in the project that I was working on. I thought, well, maybe it's my iron. Maybe my iron's just not getting hot enough. And gosh, this stuff just wants to stick to itself. It's so frustrating working with that stuff. Okay. I thought maybe it's not getting hot enough. So I decided to try, instead of the iron, I decided that I'd try to use my Mink machine. Because the Mink machine, supposedly gets as hot as like the hottest setting on the iron if you put it on the hottest setting. So I went ahead and I made these sandwiches like this with the book page and then the saran wrap, or plastic wrap in this case, and the tissue paper. And I just used a carrier of some parchment paper. This I just got at the dollar store. I made it, it's already 12 inches wide, so that's really handy. What did I say? Did the book page, the plastic wrap, and then the tissue paper, and then put the top down on the parchment paper. Now, got to make sure that this plastic wrap doesn't go beyond the parchment paper. I'm gonna get that all melty everywhere. So then I took my Mink machine, and I put it on the highest setting. Just waited for it to turn green. Okay, so that didn't take very long to get warm. And then I just put this through my Mink machine. Okay, and then I took this out of here, and it did not work. That was super disappointing. And okay, now this one's tearing my page. Yikes. All right, so yeah. I mean, it got hot. It just, it didn't work. So that was pretty disappointing. I'm gonna put that over there for the moment. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe the Mink machine doesn't get hot enough either. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I need one of those heat presses like that they use for t-shirts and things like that. And I'm like, ugh, I'm not gonna buy one of those. That's kind of out of my price range, and it's not like I'm gonna be making enough t-shirts and things to justify that price. So I was actually looking at this ceramic. I'm like, well, maybe it's like the Costco brand, because, you know, maybe it's like super industrial and like, you know, doesn't melt. And I was actually looking up, and it's like a lot of plastic wraps these days, they're made to actually withstand the microwave. So that tells me they kind of do something to these that prevents them from melting so much. So I'm like, well, before I go out and buy myself another iron that might get hotter, because I've seen people do this, I know that it works for some people, I'm just going to try a different kind of plastic. So I got these at the 99-cent store. These are just not Ziploc bags. They're gallon size, but they're not Ziploc. They're just, you know, like Twister Seal kind of bags. And you know, it's a good size. Let's see, how big are they? They're 11 by 12 and a half inches. So they're pretty good size bags. And I'm like, well, I don't need two halves. So I just cut this in half because it has, you know, two sides. I don't need, it's a bag, so I don't really need the bag part of it. I just need one thickness of it, one ply. So I just took, you know, half of it, put it to the side. I'll use that for a different project. All right, and I'm just gonna do my sandwich again. So I've got my parchment paper. I'm gonna put down my book page. I'm gonna put down my plastic. And this plastic's nice because it doesn't keep sticking to itself. So that makes it super easy. And then I'm gonna put my tissue paper over the top. Okay. And bring my Mink machine back. Just gonna run it right through my Mink machine. Okay. And voila, it worked. Ah, angels sing, yay. Oh my gosh, I was so relieved. I'm like, yay, that $1.25 that I spent on these food storage bags from the 99-cent store saved me having to go buy an iron, because Lord knows I don't ever iron clothes. I mean, who would be silly enough to do that, right? But I do use my iron for crafty purposes. Actually, my husband and sometimes we iron clothes, but not very frequently. All right, this does not tear because it's plastic. Okay, so, and then you just can trim off this excess stuff here. I just trim it slightly on the paper because And it helps if you have a really sharp blade for this. My blade is not uber sharp, so this is gonna look a little rough, but it is what it is. So just, if you do it directly on the tissue paper, it's gonna like buckle up the tissue paper. So maybe if you had like a rotary cutter, it wouldn't do that so much. Okay. And then that, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Ugh, it's beautiful. It's not coming off. I can make this, let's see, I'd already scored it. Yeah, there it is. There's one fold for this. And there's the other fold. And if you recall, this paper was a little bit ripped, and that kind of took care of the ripping right there. It just kind of, it's like putting tape on it, fused it. And then I can just glue that there, make a nice little envelope. Look how cute that is. You know, or you could go the other way. And this is much sturdier than the paper by itself, but it's not super stiff, like if you used a lot of glue or matte medium like you sometimes get with that. So I was super excited about that. I'm gonna go ahead and, I haven't tried this yet, but I'm assuming, which, you know, assumptions can be wrong. So you and I will be doing a little experiment here, but I am assuming that this will work just fine with napkins as well. So I'm going to use this napkin. Of course, you know, we all know how these work. Now you take the layer off of here. All right, that's one layer. And we still need to get one more layer off, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this clear tape. All right, great. That helps me peel off the second layer. Get it started anyway, because this one's a little harder to get off. So we go down to this really fine layer there. Okay, I'm going to use the other half. I'm going to make this sandwich here. So open up this parchment paper, and you know, this is parchment paper. You can use this over and over again. It's meant to withstand your oven, so it can withstand high heats, and it is non-stick surface, which is why it works really well in the Mink. And then let's see, how do I want to do this? There we go. All right, I'm gonna cut this like right here so that we don't waste any more of this napkin than we need to in terms of the overflow here. All right, there we go. That looks really pretty. That's good. I make sure that this plastic isn't overlapping the parchment paper. It needs to be inside the parchment paper completely, so it doesn't ruin your Mink machine. All right, I'm gonna pull my Mink machine back. Just kind of feed this through there now. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this out of here. And yeah, that appears to work for a napkin as well. So yay. Just going to trim this. Okay. Nice. All right, I'm gonna just do these edges again because there we go. Isn't that pretty? Look at how pretty that looks. And it's really nice and flexible and pliable. You could totally sew this on your sewing machine. This would be really easy to work with in a journal. All right, I'm just curious. So this is some of the extra, I don't know, stuff that I just trimmed off. I wonder if I could then run this through a second time. I don't really need this big, huge thing. But this is plastic. It's not, let's see. Just curious if it will go through a second time. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. So you could actually keep these little scraps and use them again. That's actually a lot of fun. How cool is that? Look at that. That's kind of fun. So that I just did really, really quickly. That's cool. I like that. All right. Cool. So we know, yay, that these plastic food storage bags work with Mink at the highest setting. I haven't tried it, experimented at different settings, but we know that it works at the highest setting. Now, not everybody might have a Mink machine, so I'm going to try it with my iron. Okay, so I got this drawing board. It's just like a piece of plywood with like a handle and two little clips here. I'm going to use this just because I don't want to melt my cutting board surface. So I'm going to put this down first. I'm going to take this plastic off. I wonder if we should experiment with some of this plastic too. And this is my iron. Like I said, it's a really kind of crummy iron. It's not a great iron or anything. Let's see, how can I arrange this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just a sunbeam. I don't have water in it. I have to, oh, I need to plug it in. That would be helpful. Okay, so now I'm putting it on the highest setting, which is linen, and I'm just gonna wait for that to get green. All right, so while I'm waiting for that to get green, I'm going to, again, just to prove to you that it doesn't work with an iron, I'm gonna take a sheet of paper. We'll try some of this Costco wrap again. And I'm putting it between the parchment paper again because I just don't, you know, I don't want to ruin the iron. I don't iron a lot, but when I do iron, I want to make sure that it doesn't have plastic all over it. And this stuff's such a pain in the neck to work with anyway. It's like always forever sticking to itself. Okay, put the tissue over it. And cover it like that. Kind of flatten it. All right, it is green. And I'm just gonna go over the whole thing to start off with. When I did this the first time, I did this in my kitchen, but when I did it, I probably spent about 10 minutes trying to iron the doggone thing. I ended up burning the paper. Like, it didn't like go up in flames or anything, but it like got all brown and yucky, which was too bad because I really like this vintage book page. I think this encyclopedia is from like the 1920s, so it's super old and cool looking. So I was really bummed that I kind of ruined the book page. But yeah, the saran wrap, or the plastic wrap, just really didn't melt very well. All right, so now it's hot, but yeah, I mean it kind of gets hot and kind of melty, but it really doesn't do it completely. Not with this saran or this plastic wrap. I don't know, maybe different plastic wraps would be better. But my hypothesis is that, like I said, they make this stuff to withstand the microwave now. And so, I don't know, however they do that, the formula of it now is such that it withstands heat, doesn't really melt. So that kind of defeats our purpose for crafting. All right, so I'm just going to take that half a bag that, you know, we had cut previously. I have half a bag left over. I'm just going to try the same thing. All right. All right. Let's cross our fingers. Hopefully this works with the iron too, because I think just about everybody has an iron, huh? Even if it's a crummy one like this. I can already see a difference if this stuff is, you can see that it's the translucence. All right, let's see if it's done. If that was enough. Oh yeah, it's sticking to the, it's a little warm. I probably should let it cool a little bit. But, oh yeah, this is definitely melting with the iron. It definitely worked. Yep, it worked. It worked. Woohoo! Yay! All right. So let's, just for the sake of complete, I'm just gonna do a small little piece. Let's see, we'll use this one. Night Among the Pines. Isn't that pretty? All right. So I'm just gonna take and put this, let's see, how big is this? All right, we'll just gonna use half of this. Too much off now. Phew. Okay, just fit. All right, just for the sake of full thoroughness in our experimenting. All right. Alright, so you can kind of tell, I think, when it's done, because it's like it starts becoming a lot more translucent underneath. And yeah, it is nice, and look how cute. Isn't that pretty? Okay, shoot, I forgot that we were gonna try this plastic that came off of this cutting board. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece of this stuff and try it really quick and see if this stuff works too. I'm not doing a lot at a time, but if you're gonna be doing a bunch of this, I would do this in a well-ventilated area so that you're not breathing in burning plastic or melting plastic. That can't be entirely healthy. So let's just see if this works. Let's see. I'm just gonna go like that. Making my little sandwich there. Okay. And iron it. Okay. Looks like it's working actually. Let's see. No, wait a minute. Huh, did I cover the whole thing with it? Let's see, this part down here worked. Maybe I didn't cover the whole thing with plastic wrap. Or it, I don't know, or it shrunk up, I don't know. Let's see, I'll just take another little piece here and kind of go like this. Let's see if that works. Okay, and it's still hot, so I really, yeah, you can see, looks like it melts pretty, I mean, it shrinks quite a bit when when you do it, so maybe this is not the best kind of plastic to use. I mean, the other plastic seems to, the plastic bags seem to work really, really well, or maybe I just didn't do a large enough piece to begin with when I account for its shrinkage. Anybody watch Seinfeld? Just kidding. All right, so all right, let's see. Yeah, all right, yeah, so it looks like this works. It does look like it works. So, you know, experiment with different kinds of plastics. Do it outside so you don't get slap happy. And see what works for you. This plastic, whatever it is that was used to wrap up this board, seems to work just fine. Wow. All right. So, yay! If you're having trouble getting regular plastic wrap to work with this technique, try, you know, some cheap little food storage bags. Again, I got these at the 99-cent store. I'd imagine any would work. You know, ones that do not say microwave safe. that are just regular food storage bags, and these are not freezer, so they're a little thinner. So, you know, try those. Use those with your iron. And, you know, this parchment paper works really great as a release paper. And that, you know, anyway, just works really great. So I hope you found this video informative and helpful. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the description box below. Have you tried this before? Has it worked for you with other brands of plastic wrap? That's one thing I did not try, so I don't know. Maybe it does work with other brands of like saran wrap and other plastic wraps. But this Costco stuff is pretty industrial, so did not work for me at all. Yeah, so leave me a comment, let me know. And if you feel so inclined, you want to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Denise with PaperKraftD, and craft on.